hope you all are doing really well. Welcome back to Deetalks. Well, do you have people in your family or friends who says their short temper or procrastination is due to their mother or father having it? That it's a genetic inheritance and that it's not their fault? Well, turns out it's not completely true. Says not me, but Bruce Lipton in this book, Biology of Belief. In order to read this book, reading ability, English knowledge, comprehending knowledge is not enough. You need to know some biology as well. Yes, this book goes more deep into biological concepts that at times I really felt I'm reading an academic book of biology. And I'm going to tell you what's in this book without you having to go through the biology classes. Deal?
See you in biology class? See you in biology class.
Anyways, this book has something beyond that. It has an important or essential things that we can learn which can transform the way of thinking or even living. I was talking about people giving excuses based on their genes, remember? Well, we'll revisit that point again. In order to understand what's in this book, we need to get to know about a couple of concepts before. Number one is, as we all know that our body is basically functioning through signals, electric or chemical signals, which the brain passes to each and every cell. And having said that, every cell has a predefined functionality. So when the brain gives the signal to it, the cell basically does what it has to do, which is already defined. And that is how we are talking, walking, thinking. Any action we do is through the signal that the brain sends us. Since there's a concept of gene involved here, people usually tend to blame the genes for some diseases or behavioral patterns. Of course, there's a slight genetical inheritance, but there is beyond that is what the author says. In order to investigate it further, the author has done a great research over 50 years on the functionality of cells and conducted some experiments based on the concept of epigenetics. Now, the point number two we need to know is what an epigenetics is. Well, epigenetics is the study of changes in organisms caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. This really means observing the changes that is happening to a cell or organism based on the other changes, but not by changing the genetic code. So in this experiment, which the author had held for 50 long years, he has taken a stem cell. Well, if you don't know what a stem cell is, it is produced by our body and it has the capability of turning into any form of a cell, like for example a blood cell or a fat cell or a muscle cell, depending on whatever the body requires. In this experiment, the author has taken a stem cell and left it to the process of mitosis. Again, another concept. Mitosis is the process where a cell is divided into multiple cells which are identical to each other. So the author has left for this mitosis to happen for over 150 hours. And in this process, the author has observed that one stem cell has divided itself into 30,000 identical cells. I would like to stress on the point identical. And he split 3 of those identical cells in 3 different environments. When I say environment, it's the medium where the cell could grow. These cells, if left at a certain environment, were expected to have grown into a single form of cell, like a hair cell or a blood cell, a muscle cell, a fat cell, something like that. So when Bruce Lipton divided these 3 cells in 3 different environments, they have observed these to be grown as 3 different cells, like one as a bone cell, one as a muscle cell, and one as a fat cell. And the author says that this totally depended on the environment and not the genes. And hence concluded that all the cells in our body are expected to act certain way only depending on the environment, and that the environment has a huge impact on however the cell is behaving. Coming back to the point where we all think that certain aspects of our behavior or diseases are based on the genes and it is our mother and father's fault and not ours, is not completely true. This is very similar to the concept in movies where there would be twins born from the same mother and they would be separated and raised in different homes with different environments, and they turn out to be very different people. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Probably, what if the short temper that you were blaming your father for isn't exactly a genetical inheritance, but a psychological inheritance? And mostly we tend to take advantage of that because we can just blame it on the genes, right? and that's the easiest escape room for us. That's exactly what the author is trying to say, that if somebody is told to be a certain way, for example, clumsy, since their childhood, then it is their belief that they are clumsy and they would act according to that. We were talking about the brain sending signals to our body, remember? So this is also one of the signals that the brain sends to us. And the brain can send signals only what we know and what we believe. So if I believe that I'm not clumsy, then I'm not going to be clumsy. And if somebody has put into my head since my childhood that I'm clumsy, then I would eventually be that. And after all the biology lessons I have read from this book, the moral of the story is that let's not become victims of our genes. Our genes do have a certain behavior, but it's you who can change it. If you think that you are a better person, the brain or the body functions according to it. If you're doing something that you don't like about yourself and if you're repeating of the same, then it perhaps not the genes but the influence of it, the influence of your own beliefs that you're a certain way. Try to alter it and the body listens and acts upon accordingly. I personally feel that this collides with the concept of manifestation. You want something and you chant about it, you always think about it, and that eventually happens. And your body acts accordingly that whatever you are thinking happens. I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to know more about such books, story writing, and much more, then please do follow along. If you have any other books that you found it difficult to go through but want to know what's in it, then please do let me know in the comments below so that I can read and tell it to you. Until I meet you next time, take good care of yourself. Bye.